Does science tell you if something is good or bad?
Science doesn't have a voice.
So using science,
Does science have a voice?
using science, can I determine if you are good or bad?
Yes, you can.
How? My name is Zishan, by the way. What's your name?
Nice to see you, Jeremy.
Jeremy. Yeah, I think we had a nice conversation last time. So Jeremy, last time, I don't remember your answer. Do you believe in God?
I've turned my back on God.
Turned your back.
Yes.
But you.
So
but
I am in your eyes, a kafir.
But then, or a goyim in the eyes of the Jews, or a disbeliever in the eyes
Or
of
an
the
atheist.
Christian. So when you say you turned your back on God, that presupposes there is a God.
According to religion, yes.
Do you believe that there is Do you believe that there is a God?
No, I don't believe there is a God.
But if you've turned your back to God, doesn't that presuppose there is a God?
You know,
For you to turn your back to?
religiously, I mean, you guys all believe in God, which you can't see or you can't speak to, or you think you can speak to him, but he never answers back.
No problem.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, he never answers
So
back.
then, from your perspective,
It's a mystery God.
He actually does. So from your perspective,
he
then,
answers back.
of course, 100%.
Can you tell me how? So when you speak to God,
Yeah, I can tell you.
answer back to you.
Yeah, I can tell you. So just because you don't understand the language that the other part, for example, when your dog barks back at you, it doesn't mean that he's not responding to you. It means there's a different form of communication.
Yeah.
Now, a dog whistle, you don't hear that. Does that mean that the dog whistle, the sound doesn't exist?
I don't hear a whale whistle under the water. You know, there's a lot of
exactly.
things I don't
Does it mean that it doesn't
can't see
exist?
infrared light.
Precisely. Does it mean they don't exist?
It does exist, but the thing is,
There you go.
if you look at science, where does he exist? I mean, you got to say where. You
Where does science
where,
exist?
Where in the universe does he exist?
Oh, science.
Yeah.
Why is that the measure?
Because 1 + 1 = 2. You know, you have a you have a.
That's maths. That's not science.
Yeah, well,
And
then
science
you
can't
have
prove maths.
gravity.
Science can't prove maths.
No, I can't. No.
No.
So all the
So
maths,
why are you using maths to prove science?
because that's part of a science, overall science, overall.
Not necessarily.
Am I right?
No, you're wrong.
He will tell you.
No, you're wrong. Because maths has a relationship with science. However, scientists can't prove
So what
the
about
validity of
physics?
maths.
Is that science?
Yeah, that's science.
Science and.
So do you see? So coming back to that
So
point.
drive it, yeah, go on.
Yeah. So you're saying science needs to be that measure. Why is science the measure?
Because everything, our life is measured by science and
Does
maths.
science tell you if something is right or wrong?
Yes, medically, yes.
Right or
Yeah,
wrong?
yeah.
So if I
If you-
put
if you
so if I
put
put
under a
something
scan-
so if I put something under a microscope, science can tell me if it's right or wrong.
If it's a cell, if it's a cancer cell, yeah,
So if I put a cancer cell
Yeah, cancer
under
cell.
a microscope, can science tell me if it's right or wrong?
yeah. If you're, I mean, what's the point of having radiology?
So
I mean, have you
define
ever-
right or wrong.
Have you ever been to a doctor?
Define when a cancer is put. I have.
Yes.
So when a cancer is put underneath a microscope, when is a cancer cell wrong?
If it doesn't look normal, that's why you have a
No,
radiologist, oncologist.
No, you're talking about
and,
the you're talking about the identification of a cancer cell. I'm talking about morality. If something is right or wrong, good or bad.
Okay.
Let's stick with good or bad
Does
then.
that tree have morality?
No,
No.
that tree doesn't have morality that we know of. What does that
So
mean?
what does that? What does what are you saying about a cell, a cancer cell, under the microscope?
What I'm telling
I mean,
you, what I'm telling you is morality cannot be measured under a microscope. That's why even the likes of Einstein said morality is not something within the realms of science. That's why I'm really interested how you are bringing morality into science when even the greatest scientists have discarded this point. So
Okay,
I
so
want to hear more
morality,
about this.
what about termination of life? You know, that they're now debating. You know,
Exactly.
if you're too sick, you know, you can make a decision to end your life. No,
So-
not under Islam. Of course, all the Muslim MPs opposed to it. But I mean, you
Even
know,
Christian would do
But that doesn't answer my point, which is how does science talk about morality? This isn't science talking about morality. This is people giving their opinions about something under a judicial system.
science is more black and white than morality. It is more black and white.
But does
It's all
science
more proven.
does science tell you if something is good and bad? Let's stick with that. Does science tell you if something is good or bad?
Science doesn't have a voice.
So using science,
Does science have a voice?
using
No.
science, can I determine if you are good or bad?
Yes, you can.
How?
If they put you on some sort of a brain detecting machine,
Right.
and then they ask you a set of questions, you don't have to answer them. Your chemicals in your brain will tell whoever the scientist or whoever the doctor is that how you're reacting to that.
That doesn't.
It does.
How you reacting to something
because
doesn't
the
make it right
chemicals
or
in
wrong.
your brain. Look, you're all about chemicals.
Yeah. So if I react to something in a positive way, for example,
Stimulating.
yeah, for example, a person will gain pleasure from having intercourse with an
Yeah,
animal.
yeah.
They put that under a brain scan,
Yeah.
and because he's elated, does it now mean, according to your worldview, that that is good and that's correct?
Oh, that's not correct, but.
But you said according to your
there's
criteria,
an
that's correct.
Analysis.
But according to the analysis, he enjoyed himself, then it's correct.
No, you asked a question. You said to me, "Can science be?
Can
right,
science
be
determine
right
if
or-"
something is right or wrong?
Science is a study of fact. It's a study of fact.
Not really.
Yes, of course it is.
Give
So
me
what-
one scientific fact.
So you've got John. What do you call that telescope up in the air? That
It's
is
not
discovering-
John.
Yeah, it's the James Webb telescope. Yeah, it's discovering all new galaxies. It's discovering where time began. Do you dispute that? I mean,
Do I dispute that?
They can go back to when the Earth was born. I mean,
But
that's
they can
before-
go to that
yes,
place.
Yes, they can. Yeah.
Or-
Because it looks right inside.
Or can they
the-
project the data to that time?
They can go back. They can travel. They can travel in time to see how the other ancient galaxies.
So you're saying
formed.
there's time travel?
There is effectively there will be time travel.
No, you're saying there is time travel. They can go back in time.
They can. They're going back in time. So every.
So there's
star
time travel?
Yeah. So don't you watch Brian Cox's programs on?
Brian
TV?
who?
Brian Cox, the professor.
Brian what?
Yeah, Brian Cox.
Okay.
Yeah, you Google it.
So you're saying Brian Cox time travels?
It's a cock, isn't it?
He travels. He travels. You know,
He travels back in time.
He travels 4.5 billion years ago.
Is he Doctor Who?
Well, maybe he
Yeah,
just
that's
tells you
true.
what happened 4.5
No.
billion. So are you telling me how old are Adam and Eve? How old is Adam and Eve? How old is the Quran?
That's a side point.
How old
Coming
is-
back to this point of time travel,
1,430
I'll tell you,
years
because I've
old.
looked into the science, yeah? Science doesn't take you back in time. What science does is, there's certain things called the red light shift or red shift, and you can tell from when the light reaches us. We can project using the data. This may have happened
30 years
based...
ago, 40 years, 100 years ago.
No, a
Or more.
billion, yeah,
Billion years
a billion years ago, yeah. They can project
Was
that
Allah
according
around then?
that, of course,
Really?
yeah.
So
But-
where were you guys?
One second. So you're saying when it comes to time travel, you're conflating time travel with us projecting the data that we have and the analysis that we have and having an understanding. Do you believe this understanding can change tomorrow? Our understanding of the data?
Yeah, because the theory of relativity can. I mean that you know.
What?
That can change.
That can change.
Yeah,
Do you believe evolution can change?
Because that, what's his name? That scientist who was disabled.
Yeah, Stephen Hawking.
Yeah, Stephen Hawking. You know, he was the one. He was a master. He never believed in God.
So you believe science can change?
They asked him. They said, "Did you believe in God?" He said, "No."
Do you believe science can
It
change?
can change. Yeah.
Then how is it fact?
But by progress, by new research.
So it's not
by
fact then, is
discovering
it?
new species. I mean, it always changes.
It's a changing model then, right?
It's changing. Yeah.
Then why did you say fact?
Right now, it's 1 + 1 is 2.
But that's maths.
Yeah, that's maths.
That's not science.
It's not rocket science, no.
Well, definitely not. That's
not rocket
mathematics.
science, yeah.
1 + 1 is 2.
Yeah. Right now, I mean, you got a serious problem in the Islamic world, whereby
We'll get to the problems here, but first I want to understand. I,
No, I think.
I want to understand your. I want to understand your worldview first, yeah.
Well, no,
So-
there's a lot of
so-
women after compensation from.
So
Muhammad
your
al-Fayed,
so your worldview.
including Diana.
So according to your worldview, does whatever science
Yes.
say, whatever science says, is that fact?
Whatever science says is a fact.
Whatever. So 100.
So what's the point of studying science then?
So
They might
100,
as well
100
chuck it
odd.
out on the curriculum and study the Quran instead.
No, because it's a developmental understanding of our current reality.
I mean, when
It
you went to
doesn't.
school, did you study physics, mathematics?
We did, but in
okay.
physics they told me Pluto was a planet. Now they've decided Pluto's not a planet. So science continuously changes. 100 odd years ago there was something called the steady state theory.
Yes,
Are you aware of that?
Yes, yes.
Are you aware that there was such thing called the steady state model, that they didn't believe in the Big Bang and Einstein was amongst them? Do you believe that? Well, are you aware of that
So
rather?
yeah, well,
But now it's
science
changed.
is open to interpretation.
Okay, so it's not fact then.
And it's not a religion, yeah.
So it's not fact then. It's not fact then, right? Then why should we use?
your studies
One second,
as a
one
sci-
second.
When you study science at school, it was a waste of time?
No,
You
because
didn't learn anything?
because I've already told you science is developmental. It's not written in concrete. That's the whole point. No philosopher of science will tell you everything in science is 100%. They use something called the inference to the best explanation, not facts. Yeah.
Give them the name of the new
We'll speak later. We'll speak later. So science says the inference to the best explanation rather than fact. Wait for me, yeah? Wait for me.
Okay, I'm done. I'm done here. Can you
Then why are you heckling then?
hell with the Christians.
Then why are you heckling then? If you're an atheist, then why are you heckling on the sidelines? Come in then.
Shows no mercy
Come
or care
forward.
for the Palestinians.
Come over here then.
Israelis bomb them to hell.
Come here
And
then.
the F-16?
Why are you being a coward? Are you a coward?
No, you just don't watch TV properly. You
Come here.
infidel.
Come here then.
This is my saviour. And
Come here. Come here. Why don't you tell me what Jesus is going to do when he returns?
He won't return.
To those people that disagree with him. Don't you read Gospel of John? Where are you going?
I'm done, man.
No.
I'm going to move on.
No,
I'm
it was
gonna move-
good.
I'm going to do...
Look, listen. What I'm saying, I'll answer everything that you're saying, yeah? But the thing is, I want you to leave with something.
Yeah.
Like look at the progress you've already made, yeah? I've studied this stuff. You were saying that at the beginning you said science was a fact, yeah?
Yeah.
Thereafter, I gave you a few examples in which you said, no, science constantly improves, yeah?
Yeah,
Challenge your notions.
That's why you have university. That's why you got...
Challenge your notions. And then you ask me, I will let you finish, make your point, and then I will
Next
respond to
time
that
we're
point.
going to talk about Islamic problems.
We can talk about whatever you want. I actually enjoy
Thank you very
speaking.
much.
I actually enjoy speaking to
I
you.
enjoy speaking to you. Thank you.
That's all right. Take
See
care.
you later.